We are April 17th, 2011, and we are episode 29 of your Technology Questions Answered, and I'm your host, Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis, and yes, you may call me that. And today we'll be talking about Windows and Linux, dual booting computers, why you should have one, then how to install it. Next week I'll show you how to use it, and a little later on I'll show you how to install Windows software within the environment. But first, let's talk about 5 reasons why you should have Linux installed on your computer even if you don't use it every single day. Here's one. Having a single operating system within your computer is extremely impractical, especially in the cases where your computer gets infected by viruses, spyware, and rootkits. Which means, if you did get infected and only had one operating system and only one way to access your computer, basically Windows, you are utterly screwed. This means that every time you go back into Windows, you would continue propagating an infection that A, would continue to rampage through your files, and B, possibly cause complete and total loss of your data. Something that simply just won't happen in Linux. Linux is unaffected by Windows viruses, and for the most part doesn't even have viruses of its own. You'll have proof of concept, but none of them work unless you enter the password in the first place in Linux. So, here's another reason why. Programs on Windows are notoriously expensive. Do you want suggestions? Let's see. Adobe Premiere runs you hundreds of dollars when you want the Pro version. Get KDN Live on the Linux platform, and it's absolutely free. Adobe Photoshop, again, you can get an express version for about $100, or you can get a full version of GIMP on the Linux platform, which you can also download for Windows, by the way, for free. How about you just bought your computer, you're going to school, you need an Office suite. You'd have to run to Staples and get yourself Microsoft Office or download OpenOffice. Again, absolutely free. Again, also so popular, ported to the Windows platform. How about getting an audio editor? How about one I use? Try to find yourself an audio editor on the Windows platform that doesn't cost you money. Audacity is free, also included in most Linuxes, and also ported to the Windows platform. Are you starting to see a trend? People are sick of paying high prices, so they're going more and more towards Linux. And because of their popularity, a lot more are getting ported to the Windows platform. So, you might actually want to have Linux and install the programs on both platforms. You get used to them. Like I said, having only one operating system is extremely impractical. The next thing is security. The third reason why you would want to have Linux. Here's the thing, okay? You don't have problems in Linux that you have in Windows. Windows has a hard time handling multiple users. Think about that for a second. Windows can't handle the user loads. So having multiple users is extremely cumbersome for Windows to do. But Linux, which is based off Unix, which is basically what most servers on the internet use, is so used to the idea of users that it actually uses the effect of the user accounts to isolate dangers and prevent unintentional damage whatsoever. This, in English, means if you do something within Linux that is considered dangerous or hazardous to the operating system, it will require you to enter a password to confirm the action. Something that just won't happen in Windows. And you cannot turn it off like in Windows. Quite frankly, you need to be babysit by the operating system in Windows, and they're just not doing it. Linux does not have any spyware or viral issues. Here's another thing. When you go onto the internet and browse, you do run the risk of infecting yourself in the Windows environment, and a lot of viruses in Windows are ActiveX born. And this only means that people who use Firefox, Chrome, and Safari, don't worry about anything. You can't get infected through this way. But those who use Internet Explorer like myself can get infected through the Windows platform. Therefore, using Linux to surf the internet is safer, and it even comes with Firefox as the primary browser. If you like Firefox, you're going to love Ubuntu because you won't have to learn anything about more or anything new about the browser. It's the same. And best of all, because ActiveX does not exist as a plugin within the Linux platform, there is no way you're getting a virus through that means whatsoever. And also, here's the absolute most positive reason to why I believe you should have Linux. Whether you actually install it on your computer or not, Linux can be run from the disk, live. Something Windows will never do. And I can stake my name on that, because Windows is simply way too big to do so. You wouldn't be able to install Windows and use it. Microsoft would start screaming right now, because that would imply you don't need to use the serial number. Here's the thing. Running Linux off the disk also gives you an idea if it even works on your computer. And for the most part, people, Linux not only works on your computer, but also takes advantage of all your RAM resources and also runs better and cleaner because the operating system is built better. And because it's open source, it's being maintained and upgraded and updated continuously by thousands of people who care in a product that is absolutely free. Now, folks, like I said, we're going to start with Ubuntu. I've used Ubuntu, for a long time. And the name comes from Africa. So you can go on their website and read all about the name. I'm not going to start quoting it right now. But it is the simplest. Just to give you an idea, installing programs in Linux, pain-free. Getting all your updates, pain-free. Chatting on the internet with other friends, pain-free. Surfing the internet, no chance of viruses, no screaming, pain-free. You can access the Windows environment, get all your files, and later on I will even show you how to install Windows programs within Linux. So far, not all that painful. And the 8 instructions I'll give you, still not all that painful. In fact, you won't even know you're installing Linux from the feel of it this side. Only next week will we see Linux, and that you'll actually see the change in the operating system. And let me remind some of you, if you have already used Macintosh, you'll be used to the Linux way of doing things already. So, let's head on over to the installation of Ubuntu. So, first, we have to head over to the website ubuntu.com. So, this is basically easy. We're on the front page, and the front page is at ubuntu.com. Right here is a great big orange button saying download Ubuntu. Just click it. Then, let me remind you, there are two versions. The Linux Live disk that I told you of, which you don't have to install on your computer whatsoever, you just have to run it, or the one for Windows. So, instead of downloading this one, we'll go to the Windows installer. Like I said, you won't notice you're in Linux until next week. Actually, you'll notice it earlier, but we'll only talk about it next week. Then you'll hit this button, Start Download, which, by the way, I already did. So, we'll just close the browser. Then we'll go up, and the file is wubi.exe, or what I like to call Wubi. So, all you have to do is click the button here, run the software. By the way, we're already on step 4, so like I said, only 8 steps to do. Relatively painless. Installation size, you can do anything you want. Now, people, just keep in mind, I will show you how to go and get your files in the Windows environment. You won't have to port all your files for your music and video into Linux. I'll show you how to get it there anyway. Then you choose an installation drive. I only have one hard drive on this thing. I don't believe in partitioning, unless it's for multiple operating systems. The desktop environment will leave on Ubuntu. The language you can change to any set of dozens of languages. Then the username, which I'll just use this one. And then type any password, simple or complex. Please keep in mind, the more complex the more complex the password, the less likely somebody can enter it. Now, if you have accessibility issues, you can go in here, but you don't have to worry about all this. So, we are done. All you have to do is hit, get this folks, install. That was step 6. And step 7 is automatic. Get this, it is downloading and installing the necessary files. For those of you that like following our episodes week by week, I'd like to introduce you to our Conduit toolbar, which we've had for a while, and we just recently modified for easier use. So folks, here it's at the top, the icon to our podcast. You get to access the YouTube channel inside the browser and view the video. You can even expand the screen, view all the previous episodes that we have posted to date. You can view the Twitter feed and follow me live all week long as I post messages of many numerous topics and to other people. You can view your Facebook, view the events and all that other information that you like to follow, access the primary website, the podcast about page, and most of all, the most important link on this toolbar for us is this week's current episode link, which will, from the home site, bring you to the current episode. And all you have to do to get this toolbar is visit our website at www.zedaxis.net. Scroll down to the bottom right here about midway. Hit this green button right here that says installs in seconds and even includes an uninstaller. And we have versions for Internet Explorer, Firefox, Safari, and Chrome. And it's absolutely free. No catch. Install it, uninstall it if you don't want to keep it. But folks, get this. We will give you a message saying every week when we post a brand new episode. The link is here at the top, so you don't have to rummage around the internet typing anything in. I will change this link myself in the browser every single week. And best of all, your privacy is maintained. If you want to see the privacy policy, just click that link. So, like I said, you can download it at www.zedaxis.net. Step 8 of the download and installing of the Linux is basically simple. At the very end, it will ask you to hit a button and then go and hit reset, and then you restart your computer, go into Linux, Ubuntu to be more exact, put in your password, let it do its final installation, it will restart, then you can go into Ubuntu, enter your password again, and start using it right now. That's all it has to do after that. You don't have anything else to do that is anywhere complicated like Windows. It will do it all by itself. Best of all, you don't have to take out your driver disks. Most of the drivers inside your computer will already be dealt with automatically by the Linux. Don't have to worry about anything whatsoever. Now, like I just said, we modified our Conduit toolbar. You can download it from www.zedaxis.net. And I will post the link to each brand new episode straight into the toolbar. I will send you a message saying the episode is now currently out. And if there are any secret events, only you will know about it. So, until next week, where we will be talking about the Linux 101 and explain to you how to use Linux. This has been your Technology Questions Answered. And I've been Steve Smith, aka Z-Axis. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.